Doesn't take much of an angle, but boy, we finally got here after about how many underground changes?
Too many.
Yeah, really.
I feel like we're in the middle of a subway game.
Clock face?
Westminster Abbey.
Westminster Abbey? The clock looks so modern though.
The main entrance is where those two square towers.
Hoffman Square. Oopsie. Still full of traffic here. And over there, the Millennium Eye. We're going to be going on there in a few hours. Oh my. Huge. Oh, that's what this is, a moat. I should have known. Or, well, it used to be anyway. Building of Westminster Abbey? Oh my gosh. What's over here? Oh, Methodist Central Hall. Wow. All these old buildings. This is the main entrance? Okay. Do you know who all those figures are up there at the top? No, huh? Well, it's worth a try. Hold it, I think I've got the names. Of course, not all the sites are architectural. Then there were those three lotuses we saw at that one intersection. They see one, don't they?
Here comes the bus.
Not sure how incongruous this is. Find him honored in London, of all places. Special about the pub, it's just that it is one, that's what makes it special. The flowers don't hurt, though. Needless to say, there's a lot of security down this way.
Oh, these are different. These are in Buckingham Palace. What is this place?
Hey Bill, what is this place again?
Royal Horse Guards.
Huh.
Oh, this is really the Royal Horse Garden? That explains why the guards are on horses.
Uh-oh. Best get out of the way. God has already been changed.
Column in front of this one.
Yeah, I got it. Your car? Oh, come on. It's nothing like the one we got to take us to the airport.
Now, these poor people from Germany or something. The poor guy, he's having to drive. He drives on the other side of the vehicle. You notice the driver's position on that front is like,
Uh-huh. This is from Germany? Oh, yeah, I can see now. And they're on the wrong side. Oh, that's got to be a problem. We got a couple of embassies here. I have no idea which flag that belongs to there, but Malaysia, Uganda, and whatever else. What's this?
That's Lord Nelson.
Right.
That's a national...
Is that the Battle of Trafalgar on the bas relief?
Right, I think so.
The cover of their book is different.
And what's the building behind it?
On the bus.
The building behind there's a National Gallery.
Oh, art gallery?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The church spire over there, that's St. Martin's in the field.
St. Martin's? In fact, it is.
Okay, that must
And I'm
be-
not sure why.
Well, they fly the flag if there's a dignitary going to come visit
Oh,
of the country, so somebody must be coming.
wild. These I may have to look up when I get home. Duties of the British policeman posing for photographs. Back door. St. James seems to be sort of thrown together. Is this one of the older palaces, or?
They cobbled on new pieces all the time. Westminster was the... I like the peppermint stripe part. The tower's the oldest.
Peppermint stripe? Well,
It looks like part of our flag, but there's no stars.
I guess. Oh, this is where the Queen Mum lived? Is that why there's a guard here? Buckingham Palace. Yeah, it is. You know, and I complained about our house being on an ambulance thoroughfare. Even the royals have that problem, huh? Well, at least the guy in the ambulance had a great view as he went by.
Shoot! 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 Shoot!
What are you shooing? Oh, the pigeons. Realized it. And the goddess of victory, I imagine, over Victoria. Ah, those English and their sense of humor. Hey there! Wave! Hi, Daniel! Like this. 2 hours sleep since whenever, so it's been a long day for us all, really. Oh gosh. Oh man. Well,
Daniel, coming back.
There's where we're headed now. Yeah, those are. Wow. You don't see pelicans much either. The problem is, of course, you toss it to the pelicans, they could eat the whole roll in one bite.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Let's keep moving on. 20 more further on.
We gotta catch the others.
The ones that are over by the lake don't seem real interested though.
No, they aren't.
They must be very well fed already.
I can believe that. You were asking about the lilac smell.
Let's beat them.
The swan, yes.
That's what this is for.
Baby swans? Oh my goodness, yes.
Like I said, ugly ducklings are
Those are,
They're called cygnets, yes. That's right, son.
They don't want to take it out of your hand. They don't know you that well. Daniel, you're gonna get your finger pecked.
Oh, we're just gonna get the pigeons. How a toss away. If you Canada geese. What kind of a noise is that?
I don't know. Come over here if you want something.
oh, Mommy's swan, come over here.
Canadian geese. They came a long way.
Bigfoot there. They're banded.
Joanna. Go find more far. Mommy's gonna hold you for a minute so Daddy can take a picture. Okay.
As soon as Daddy takes a
Well, like you said, Bill, this is a great view.
On your flight flight today, you will fly 135 meters above London on the world's largest observation wheel. If at any point during the flight you require assistance, please press the emergency button located on either side of the capsule. During the flight, the wheel may be stopped for short periods to allow the safe boarding or disembarkation of disabled or elderly guests.
Some folks kayaking in the Thames.
So we know we're not climbing. You can sit.
Yeah, too.
No, but what does the word say? Do not eat against dogs. I can't see. I can't see.
When we got to the bottom, it's crack things, and you know that hole that we had to step over? It's like a wrap thing, and it covers the whole thing. You had to come flash.
There's St. Paul's in the London skyline. That's an interesting one. The Pico building on the American. It's just an office building. All these trendy new things. I wonder if this is what Prince Charles is so rabid about. Now moving on. To the east. From the north. More of the London skyline. Pretty high. It's a little ways from the top. Now we're at the very top, as you can see. The Parliament Building, Manchester Street. There? That's the tower? The Tower Bridge, you say?
Between those two buildings, there's like a blue and it's like way out there. And that big dome on that church right there, that's St. Paul's.
Yeah, I had Bill point that out to me earlier. Right here.
This train station is the back of the Charing Cross train station.
Down here is the Charing Cross station.
Yeah.
But that's British Rail, not the Underground. Right?
Yeah.
Right. And what's over here then?
I don't know what that is.
Oh.
Waterloo station's right down here below you.
Back to the south side.
So it gives me another reason to say I'm going to go to London again.
Telecom tower. Thing's high. That's still Nelson's Tower? Wow. Even down below. Really quite a view.
Yeah. Put it in.
Thames. Alright, yeah. Taking on a river cruise of the place. Let's see what they have to say about it.
Opened last year and was a millennium project to replace the original rather dilapidated footbridge. It actually consists of 2 footbridges, one on either side of the railway bridge, which goes into Charing Cross Station, which you can see just there on your left.
Going under the Hungerford Bridge, in case we didn't catch that name.
So as we come through the bridge, the first building on the right is the South Bank Centre, and the first building facing the river is the Royal Festival Hall, a concert hall built in 1951 for the Festival of Britain. Home to the London Philharmonic Orchestra, this is a world-class concert hall. It also houses the Queen Elizabeth Hall and the Purcell Rooms, and smaller concerts are held there. Next to that is the National Film Theatre, and just behind that is the Hayward Gallery. That's the building with the pyramids on the top, and it's best seen at night. The Hayward Gallery is actually closed at the moment for the construction of an extended foyer, but it'll reopen later on this autumn. In front of us now we have Waterloo Bridge, and this is also known as the Ladies' Bridge, since this bridge was mainly built by women during World War II, as the men were away fighting. In 1978, events took place on this bridge that sound rather like a James Bond film. A KGB agent assassinated the Bulgarian dissident playwright Georgy Markov with a poisoned umbrella. Now you might notice how clean this bridge looks compared to the other bridges, and that is because it was built with Portland stone, which is a special stone that cleans itself whenever it rains. Now you might notice as we go underneath that the underside is very black, and that's of course because the rain doesn't actually reach there. The building with the electronic advertising screen on it that many says looks like a multi-storey car park is in fact the Royal National Theatre. Prince Charles has described it as looking rather like a nuclear power station. It actually contains 3 theatres, the largest being the Olivia Theatre, named after Laurence Olivier, the famous actor who was the first director of the National Theatre. Just next to this, on the right, the first tower block is the London Weekend Television Centre, now called the London Studios. Many TV programmes are recorded here, such as So Graham Norton, GMTV, Blind Date, This Morning and London Tonight. So if you see any programmes with a river as a backdrop and the London Eye in the background, these have been filmed here. Inlet, which is Gabriel's Wharf. And this has been completely regenerated, and it now houses a crafts market and restaurants. A tower with the letters OXO printed on it, on the right. Now this is of course the OXO Tower. Once a meat production warehouse, this building was owned by the company who make the OXO stock cubes. And the letters OXO are in fact red stained glass windows that illuminate when the lights inside are on. Now this was put on the building as an ingenious way to get around the strict advertising restrictions in the 1930s. It was completely refurbished in the 1990s and now houses a London restaurant owned by Harvey Nichols, which has fantastic views as well as an art gallery and shops. Cathedral. This is the church with the large dome. St Paul's Cathedral was designed by Christopher Wren and was completed in 1710 to replace the original medieval cathedral, which was destroyed by the Great Fire of London. This has the second largest dome in the world after St Peter's in Rome. Many famous people are buried here, including Lord Nelson, Florence Nightingale, the Duke of Wellington and Christopher Wren himself. And many famous events in our nation's history have taken place here, including Sir Winston Churchill's funeral, and also the marriage of Prince Charles to Lady Diana Spencer back in 1981. In front of us now we have Blackfriars Bridge. And this got its name from the Dominican friary that used to stand here, and they wore black robes, hence the name Blackfriars. It is in fact 3 bridges. The first, Victorian Road Bridge, is decorated with birds found on the River Thames. Facing us this way, on the side of the London Eye, are freshwater birds, since this side faces inland. And on the other side, facing out towards the Tower of London, are seabirds, because that side faces out towards the sea. The most famous event to take place on this bridge was back in 1982, when the body of the Vatican and Mafia's banker Roberto Calvi was found hanging here. He's believed to have been murdered by the Italian Mafia to silence him after his bank collapsed and the money laundering operation was exposed. Behind this front bridge, you'll see some red columns in the water, and these are all that remain of the second bridge, which was the original railway bridge that brought the first steam train across the Thames. It carries the insignia for the Victorian Railway Company called the London, Chatham and Dover Railway. You can see the insignia. If you just look up towards your right now, you'll see the insignia there. You might wonder why the pillars have been left in the water. Apparently it's because if they were moved, it would actually disrupt the foundations of the other bridges, so they have to be left there. And the third bridge, the one we've just been under, is the Alexandra Railway Bridge. Now, just coming up on our right, the large building with a 325-foot chimney is the Tate Modern Art Gallery. The building was originally the Bankside Power Station, built by Sir Giles Gilbert Scott, also the architect of Waterloo Bridge and Britain's famous red telephone boxes. In the year 2000, to celebrate the millennium, it reopened as an art gallery, housing a world-class collection of international modern art from 1900 to the present day. The gallery's main exhibition is free, and this summer it features the largest ever inflatable sculptures. Apparently they're by Paul McCarthy. I'm also told that the black inflatable structure that we can see there on the right is supposed to represent Pinocchio, and it's called Blockhead. We're now approaching the Millennium Bridge, and this footbridge originally opened in the year 2000, but had to close after the first weekend due to an unexpected wobble which was discovered in the structure. Nicknamed the Wobbly Bridge, this was designed by the architect Norman Foster, and it reopened last year. It's just in front of that huge tree that you can see there. Now, this was Sir Christopher Wren's house when he was building St Paul's Cathedral. And he couldn't live on the north side of the Thames next to St Paul's because that whole area of London was destroyed during the Great Fire of London. And just next to that, also on the right, the white building with a thatched roof is a detailed reproduction of Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. Built near the site of the original theatre, the Globe was where many of Shakespeare's plays were first performed. This now has performances of Shakespeare's plays in the summer, and seeing a play here is a very lively experience. Like the Elizabethan original, it's open air with standing room in the centre, so if it rains like today, you get very wet. You're encouraged to cheer and jeer at the actors, just like Shakespeare's audience would have done. And it's actually the only thatched roof building in London since the Great Fire, so special permission had to be granted to build this reproduction. And just behind here is the area of Southwark, and this area was once notorious for its brothels, gambling, drinking, bear-baiting and cockfighting, as well as its theatres. It not only had the Globe, but also the Swan Theatre and the Rose Theatre, made famous in the film Shakespeare in Love. The bridge we're now approaching is Southwark Bridge, and if you look to your right, just before the bridge, you can see some steps leading down to the water. And in Shakespeare's era, people used to hail a rowing boat from these steps in order to get across the Thames. And this is because there was only one bridge at that time, London Bridge, so a boat was often the quickest way to cross the river. See a pub called the Anchor, and this is one of London's most famous and oldest riverside pubs. The present building dates back to the 18th century, although traces of earlier pubs have been found beneath it. Samuel Pepys, Dr. Samuel Johnson and Charles Dickens are all said to have drunk here. It's also the original site of the dressing rooms for Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, which were apparently housed just above the pub there. Buildings, you'll see a colourful boat, and this is a reproduction of Sir Francis Drake's Golden Hind. In 1577, Sir Francis Drake became the first person to travel around the world on his ship, returning 3 years later with £25 million worth of treasure. This reproduction can now be visited, and it's actually sailed around the world twice, which is once more than Sir Francis himself. Also, just coming up on our right, behind the green crane, you'll see Southwark Cathedral. And for any Americans on the boat, John Harvard, who went on to found Harvard University in America, was baptized here, and there's a chapel there named after him. That's just coming up now on your right. In front of us now we have London Bridge. Now the original bridge was built in Roman times, and until the 18th century it was the only bridge crossing the Thames. In the medieval era the bridge was covered with houses and shops, and rather gruesomely the 7 heads of executed people were also put on stakes on the bridge to act as a deterrent.
Here comes Tower Bridge.
Only to 1971. But the Victorian version of the bridge was sold to an American developer who paid £1 million for it and shipped it out stone by stone to Lake Havasu in Arizona. It's believed that he mistakenly thought he was actually buying Tower Bridge. The sandy-coloured building with the glass-domed roof is Hayes Galleria, and this now houses shops and restaurants. In front of us you can't fail to miss the large warship, which is the HMS Belfast. This 11,500-ton battlecruiser was the largest light cruiser in the British fleet in World War II. It participated in the Russian convoys in World War II and D-Day, as well as the Korean War. Its guns can fire 12 miles, that's as far as Kew or Croydon from here. And it was actually built at the same boat yards where the ill-fated Titanic was built. But this ship nowadays, however, is just a floating museum. View of Tower Bridge. This is London's most famous bridge, although it's only just over 100 years old. Built in 1894, it was designed to blend in with the Tower of London, which is just to its left. The bridge can be opened to let tall ships past, and in its heyday it was opened 5 times a day, although now it's only open just a few times a week. Ironically, the only time it jammed was on its opening ceremony. High above you can see the pedestrian walkway, which was used whenever the bridge was open. And this now houses an exhibition with displays about the bridge's history. In 1952, a double-decker bus was on the bridge when it was raised, but it managed to accelerate, and it jumped over from one bascule to the other, just in time.
Oh boy.
On our right now, the glass round-shaped building is the new headquarters for the Mayor of London, Ken Livingstone, and the London Assembly. It's called City Hall and was designed by Norman Foster, with whom the London Eye architects have trained. And City Hall was opened by the Queen in July last year. You'll see Canada Tower at Canary Wharf. This is the tall building with the triangular roof and a light flashing on the top. And this is actually the tallest building in London. And it's actually also twice as high as the London Eye, believe it or not. And as we turn a little bit further, in between the Thistle Tower Hotel and Tower Bridge, you'll see an oval-shaped building, which has been nicknamed the London Gherkin due to its shape. It's a 41-storey high building and should be completed by the end of the year, when a Swiss financial company is due to move in. This is another project by Sir Norman Foster, and it's been designed in that shape to give under its own weight by 5 inches. And it's also been designed in that shape to prevent a downdraft in the street below. The Tower of London. This is over 900 years old, with the oldest parts dating back to William the Conqueror. The tower has had many functions through the centuries. It's been a royal zoo, an observatory, a prison, and a royal mint. And currently it houses the crown jewels guarded by the Beefeaters. It's most famous as the place where people who'd fallen out of royal favour were imprisoned before they were executed. And on the right you can also see a brick entrance with writing above it, and this was the Traitor's Gate. Condemned people would have to arrive through this entrance by the waterman's boat. It's known as the first one-way street in London, since not one single person who arrived by this entrance ever survived, other than Queen Elizabeth I, who was imprisoned by her sister Queen Mary. The tower is home to 7 black ravens, and legend has it the kingdom will fall if they ever fly away. However, their wings are clipped to make this impossible. And if you look just above that, you'll see a very tall column with a gold ball of fire on the top, and this is the monument. Now, This was actually built to commemorate the rebuilding of the city after the Great Fire of London, which destroyed 80% of London in 1666, including destroying over 13,000 houses and making 100,000 people homeless. It's 62 metres high, which is the exact distance from the monument to the baker's shop in Green Lane, where the fire started. The fire did stop the plague, however, which had been spread by rats, and had killed over 100,000 people the previous year. Signed by Christopher Wren. In the front we have a church called St. Magnus the Martyr, and just behind that is another view of the monument, which is coming up now on the right. Street Station. Now this station used to have a glass domed roof. During World War II the roof was put into storage in the countryside to protect it from the bombing. However, the place where it was stored was bombed and the glass roof was destroyed. Ironically, Cannon Street Station largely survived the war untouched. On top of the station nowadays is a roof garden, which is one of the largest roof gardens in London. And this is where people scrambled to get a boat to lead them to safety during the Great Fire of London. Where the bridge goes into the gap between the two buildings, we'll have another good view of St. Paul's Cathedral. That's just on your right now. I would now point out the old City of London School to you. And Unilever makes brands such as the Unilever makes detergents such as the brand of Persil. This is the old City of London. It's decorated with catches, Broadway sculptures, Francis Bacon, Isaac Newton and John Milton. The building at the red brick building that looks something like a church is a theology museum. It has one of the earliest Bibles ever printed in its collection. On our left, the building with the gold wall is Sea Containers House, and this was owned by the company that owns the Orient Express. The City of Westminster begins. It was the city of royalty. You might be able to see that on the roadside it's decorated with silver dragons, which were meant to protect the city. Tradition dictates that if the Queen wishes to pass here, she must ask permission from the Lord Mayor to enter the City of London. Even the flag line is Somerset House. This used to be the public record office where births, deaths and marriages in England and Wales were recorded, so it became nicknamed the Hatcham and Thatcham offices. It now houses the art gallery at Courtauld Institute, which has a superb collection of Impressionist and post-Impressionist art, including Van Gogh, Renoir and Monet. All this monument in London is over 3,500 years old, older than London itself. It was presented to Britain by the Egyptian government in 1819 and has a twin in New York Central Park. The sphinxes were added in 1882 but are not original. They're really meant to be facing away from the monument to guard it, but they were built facing the monument by mistake. Right, that looks a little bit like a fairy tale castle, is Whitehall Court, and this was home to the 19th century Liberal Party, whose most famous Prime Minister was William Gladstone. Just next to this, the bulky white building behind the trees with the green roof, is the Ministry of Defence. And 2/3 of this building is underground for security reasons. It even has a nuclear fallout shelter inside. But also just coming up on our right, the statue of the Golden Eagle is the RAF Memorial, built to commemorate the air servicemen and women who lost their lives in World Wars I and II. And in front of us now we have a wonderful view of London's most famous landmark, the Houses of Parliament, and the clock tower known as Big Ben. The tower is in fact called St. Stephen's Tower, and Big Ben only refers to the name of the vast 14-ton bell, which chimes on the hour, and 4 smaller chimes on the quarter hour. It's kept time for the nation for almost 150 years. And the red and white striped building just coming up on our right is the old Scotland Yard, which used to be the home of the police force. Just beyond that, the building in front of the bridge, with a funny shaped roof, is Portcullis House, and this is the offices for the Members of Parliament. It's a rather controversial building. Apparently it cost £600 million to build, and it's completely bomb-proof. Now there are, of course, 2 Houses of Parliament. The House of Commons, which is where the elected Members of Parliament, or MPs, debate and vote on new legislation, and the House of Lords, which ratifies this legislation. Now the bridge ahead of us, Westminster Bridge, you'll notice, is green, and the House of Commons is also upholstered in green. The next bridge down, which is Lambeth Bridge, is also red, And this was the way that the members of the House of Lords traditionally entered Parliament. If Parliament is in session, a single flag flies from the largest tower, which is called the Victoria Tower. So being Sunday, you can see that they're not really working there today. After a general election, all the ballot papers are stored in this tower and must be kept for a year before being destroyed. Now, many people assume that the Houses of Parliament are many centuries old, but in fact the building was actually only completed in 1860, since the previous Parliament was destroyed by fire, earlier in 1834. The coats of arms under the bottom set of windows represent all the aristocratic families in England. And just below that, at the bottom, you might be able to see a strip of writing, which is the Lord's Prayer in Latin. Is in fact Lambeth Palace, and this has been the home of the Archbishop of Canterbury, who's the head of the Church of England, for 800 years. And the flag flies when the current Archbishop, the newly appointed Dr. Rowan Williams, is at home. And an eye. At 135 metres high, this is the world's highest observation wheel. Designed and conceived by husband and wife architect team David Marks and Julia Barfield, it cost £75 million to build, mainly paid for by British Airways, who are its sponsors. It's a very international structure, with components coming from 6 different European countries. The components were shipped up the River Thames and assembled in a ring above the river, and it was then lifted into its vertical position on the south bank by some of the largest cranes in the world in 1999, just in time for the Millennium Eve. It opened in the year 2000 to celebrate the millennium. And if you haven't already been on the Eye, a flight on the Eye takes 30 minutes and offers passengers amazing panoramic views of the capital. On a clear day, you can see as far as Windsor Castle, some 25 miles away. And views are particularly stunning at night or at sunset. It has 32 high-tech, fully enclosed capsules. That's one for every borough of London. And the Eye holds up to 800 people at any one time. And so far it's welcomed over 14 million customers, making it the UK's #1 paid-for visitor attraction for 2 years running.
No, it's not a statue. And the mimes speak. And home. Not a minute too soon either.